Or were you just dying to get out of the scene?
No, I actually made a lot of people very angry because I just said adios to everyone. It was definitely a very conscious decision.
Carolyn Murphy could have chased fame like many supermodels, but she chose a different path. Instead of constant headlines, she built a life of balance, health, and quiet success. But how did she stay successful without chasing the spotlight? What was her secret behind this? Join us as we explore how she built her career while saying no to fame. A face the world recognized but few truly knew. Carolyn Murphy, a supermodel whose career blends global recognition, has been a big name in the industry. Emerging in the 1990s, she quickly rose through the ranks, becoming a sought-after presence on runways for fashion powerhouses such as Prada, Versace, Calvin Klein, and Dolce & Gabbana. Her ability to adapt to different styles made her a favorite for both high fashion and commercial work, earning her multiple covers of Vogue and other leading magazines. Known for her elegance, professionalism, and quiet personal life, Murphy avoided the trappings of celebrity culture, choosing instead to focus on work that reflected her standards and values. Right at the height of her career, Carolyn Murphy's face was everywhere in the fashion world. Her image appeared on magazine covers and glossy displays that seemed to stop the people in their tracks. She was the woman in sleek designer gowns walking the runway for the biggest names in fashion. She was the fresh, flawless beauty in luxury campaigns, her eyes meeting the camera with calm confidence. Whether in a grand couture show or a polished beauty ad, her presence was impossible to ignore. For many, she became one of the most familiar faces of her generation in modeling, an image associated with elegance, grace, and timeless appeal. She worked with some of the most prestigious brands in the world, lending her beauty and poise to labels that defined luxury. Her face became a signature in the pages of Vogue, appearing in editions that spanned continents. The covers captured her versatility, sometimes strong and striking, other times soft and serene. Her long-standing partnership with Estée Lauder brought her into homes far beyond the high fashion audience, making her a household name in beauty. Through countless campaigns and editorials, she reached a level of visibility most models only dream of. And yet behind this remarkable presence in the industry, Carolyn Murphy chose a path that was different from many of her peers. While her image traveled the globe, she did not chase the celebrity lifestyle that often comes with fame. She was not the face seen at every party or the name constantly making headlines for off-runway drama. Instead, she moved with a quiet determination to keep her personal life her own. Even as her career soared, she remained selective, saying yes only to work that felt right and aligning herself with brands and projects that matched her own standards. This balance between public success and personal privacy was part of what made her story stand out. She proved that it was possible to be at the top of an industry built on exposure without giving away every part of herself. In an environment where many chase the spotlight, she mastered the art of stepping into it only when she wanted to. The result was a career marked by consistent relevance without the burnout or overexposure that often shortens a model's time in the public eye. At her peak, Carolyn Murphy embodied a rare mix of global recognition and quiet restraint. People recognized her face instantly, but they knew little about her beyond her work. That mystery only added to her allure. But how did she become so famous that she had to start avoiding the spotlight? Let's take a deep dive into her career milestones and how she achieved what many her age couldn't. Breakthrough and major career milestones. When Carolyn Murphy first stepped into the world of high fashion, the industry noticed her almost instantly. Murphy talks about how she started.
In modeling here and there for about 2 years when I was in high school, and it just really wasn't my thing. I was like, it's for prissy girls, I don't know what I'm doing.
She had a look that was both modern and timeless, able to fit into any creative vision without losing her own natural charm. Her debut in major shows marked the start of a career that would soon place her among the most in-demand models of her time. From the very beginning, she brought a quiet but undeniable confidence to the runway, moving with the grace of someone who belonged there. This calm strength caught the attention of top designers, opening doors to the kind of opportunities that only a handful of models ever receive. Her early seasons were filled with high-profile bookings that set the tone for the years ahead. Walking for Prada placed her firmly on the radar of the fashion elite, as the brand was known for shaping the careers of future supermodels. From there, her appearances for Versace added another layer to her image, showing she could shift from the intellectual cool of minimalist fashion to the bold glamour that Versace celebrated. She became equally convincing in the sleek sophistication of Calvin Klein, where her natural beauty complemented the brand's clean lines, and the opulent world of Dolce & Gabbana, where she embodied a rich, classic femininity. These runway appearances were not just jobs, they were statements. Each show reinforced her ability to adapt to completely different aesthetics, something that made her invaluable to the industry. Designers could trust that she would deliver exactly what their vision required, whether it was understated elegance or dramatic flair. Within a short period, she had become a fixture on the schedules of some of the most important fashion weeks, walking in collections that would be remembered for years. Alongside her runway success, Carolyn Murphy began building a strong editorial presence. Her first significant magazine cover signaled her rise from promising newcomer to established name. Appearing on the cover of Vogue, one of the most coveted achievements in the industry, marked a turning point. Each cover had its own character, and she adapted to each setting effortlessly. One month, she might be photographed in soft, natural light, looking approachable and warm. And the next, she might take on a high fashion edge with bold styling and striking poses. These covers didn't just show her beauty, they showed her range, convincing both designers and advertisers that she could be the face of anything. This growing portfolio of editorial work quickly positioned her as more than just another model on the runway. She was becoming a global figure in fashion, with her image recognized by audiences far beyond the fashion capitals. Campaigns followed, with her face appearing in luxury advertisements that reached millions. These campaigns helped bridge her runway prestige with mainstream recognition, building her into a model who was both respected by the fashion world and known by the everyday consumer. The defining moment that cemented her place at the top came with a career move that would change everything. In 2001, Carolyn Murphy signed a contract with Estée Lauder. This was not just another beauty deal. It was a long-term commitment from one of the most iconic cosmetics companies in the world. For a model, securing a role like this meant more than just exposure. It meant stability in an unpredictable industry. It also meant her image would become synonymous with timeless beauty, appearing in campaigns that reached across the generations and countries. The Estée Lauder partnership allowed Murphy to be the face of products that women saw every day in stores, magazines, and television ads. Her signature look, fresh, radiant skin, calm eyes, and effortless elegance, became central to the brand's identity during her tenure. She appeared in carefully crafted images that conveyed both luxury and approachability, making her relatable to everyday consumers while still holding the aspirational quality that high-end beauty brands demand. This contract was more than just a financial or professional milestone. It gave her the ability to shape her career on her own terms. While many models needed to take every job offered to maintain momentum, Murphy could be selective. Murphy talks about her career attitude.
Because I just said adios to everyone. It was definitely a very conscious decision.
She no longer had to fill her schedule with constant appearances to stay relevant. The visibility from Estée Lauder ensured she remained in the public eye without overexposure. This freedom allowed her to focus only on projects that matched her values and interests, whether they were high fashion editorials, meaningful brand partnerships, or special runway appearances. Over the years, her work with Estée Lauder produced a collection of campaigns that became instantly recognizable. She represented fragrances, skincare lines, and makeup ranges, each with its own visual style. Sometimes she was styled in soft pastels with glowing, natural makeup, while other times she took on a more dramatic look with bold lips and defined features. No matter the campaign, she brought a sense of calm confidence that fit perfectly with the brand's image. Her role with Estée Lauder also highlighted her staying power in an industry known for quick turnover. While many models rise and fade in just a few seasons, Murphy's consistent presence for the brand showed that she had something rarer, the ability to stay relevant year after year. This was partly because her beauty appealed across age groups, but also because she carried herself with professionalism that brands could trust. By the time she was well into her tenure with Estee Lauder, Carolyn Murphy had achieved what many considered the perfect balance in modeling. She had the credibility of a high fashion career with designers like Prada, Versace, Calvin Klein, and Dolce & Gabbana. She had the prestige of Vogue covers that marked her as an editorial force, and she had the security and visibility of representing one of the most respected beauty brands in the world. This combination gave her the rare position of being both a model's model and a household name, someone respected by the industry and recognized by the public. So, what other achievements did Murphy get that pushed her more to the spotlight? Editorial presence and runway highlights. Carolyn Murphy's editorial career is one of the most polished and enduring in modern fashion. Over the years, she appeared on numerous Vogue covers, each one different yet equally striking. Her features graced American Vogue, French Vogue, and several international editions, including Italian, British, and Japanese Vogue. Each cover showed a new side of her, sometimes glamorous and commanding, sometimes soft and understated. These appearances did more than showcase her beauty. They displayed her ability to adapt to different creative directions, making her a natural choice for editors and photographers across the globe. Her collaborations with the industry's most celebrated photographers became an essential part of her portfolio. Working with Steven Meisel, she took on high-concept editorials that pushed artistic boundaries. With Mario Testino, she embodied effortless glamour and warmth. Annie Leibovitz captured her in timeless, cinematic images that added depth to her public image. Each partnership brought out a unique aspect of her persona, and her ability to blend into a photographer's vision while still retaining her identity was one of her greatest strengths. These editorial projects were not just photo sessions. They were carefully crafted moments that helped define the visual style of their time. On the runway, Carolyn Murphy maintained a consistent presence during some of the most memorable fashion seasons. She walked for designers who defined the luxury market, appearing in shows that drew the attention of the global fashion press. Prada presented her in a refined, intellectual light, while Versace embraced her in the bold, glamorous looks for which the house is famous. At Calvin Klein, she delivered the clean, minimal style that became a trademark of the brand's runways. Dolce & Gabbana highlighted her classic femininity, pairing her with ornate designs that celebrated old-world charm. These appearances proved her versatility. She could be the sleek modern muse one day, and the embodiment of opulence the next. Her presence was not limited to high fashion. Carolyn Murphy also reached a wider audience through appearances in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Here, she balanced the glamour of couture with a more approachable, beach-ready appeal. This crossover from editorial fashion to mainstream publications gave her a broader fan base, proving she could excel in both worlds. Few models managed to hold equal credibility in high fashion and commercial modeling, but Murphy did so seamlessly. Her swimsuit features displayed a natural athletic beauty that contrasted with the polished perfection of her runway and editorial work, reinforcing her adaptability. Part of what made Carolyn Murphy so successful in both arenas was her professionalism and work ethic. Designers and photographers trusted her to deliver consistently, whether she was in the controlled environment of a studio or on a busy Fashion Week schedule. She understood the demands of different types of shoots and shows, arriving prepared and ready to fit into the vision of whoever was leading the project. That reliability kept her in high demand, season after season. Her look was another factor in her long-lasting appeal. Carolyn Murphy possessed a rare kind of versatility. Her features could be styled to suit virtually any aesthetic. In beauty campaigns, she could project softness and accessibility, the kind of image that draws consumers towards skincare or fragrance. In editorial spreads, she could take on avant-garde styling and complex concepts without losing her own identity. In commercial work, she could embody the polished professionalism that brands wanted for their advertisements. This flexibility made her one of the few models who could maintain relevance across multiple branches of the industry. Beyond her headline role with Estee Lauder, Murphy built long-term relationships with other brands that valued her consistency and image. These partnerships were a testament to the trust she inspired. She worked repeatedly with fashion houses that appreciated her ability to connect with their audience, whether through seasonal campaigns, runway appearances, or special projects. These ongoing collaborations added stability to her career, ensuring she remained visible without needing to constantly chase new clients. The combination of editorial prestige, runway credibility, and commercial strength is what set Carolyn Murphy apart. She was equally at home in the pages of a high-fashion magazine, on the catwalk of a major fashion week, or in an advertising campaign that reached millions of households. Each segment of her career supported the others. Her runway work kept her relevant to designers. Her editorial features built her reputation with photographers and editors, and her commercial campaigns connected her with the general public. By maintaining this balance, she avoided being boxed into a single type of modeling. Some models find themselves locked into high fashion and struggle to cross into mainstream markets, while others succeed in commercial work but are overlooked for editorial and runway projects. Carolyn Murphy managed to thrive in all three, a feat that required not just beauty and talent, but also careful decision-making and an ability to read the shifts in the industry. With all these achievements, how do you think she was able to maintain it all with motherhood? How was her life behind the walls of modeling? Motherhood and life beyond the runway. Motherhood arrived and shifted the rhythm of Carolyn Murphy's life in the most gentle yet powerful way. One moment, she was immersed in a whirlwind of shoots, runway shows, and glossy magazine spreads. The next, her attention gently pivoted toward the soft rhythm of a child's needs, the early morning routine, the quiet meals, the first laughs. Murphy talks about having a daughter.
I have a daughter.
How do you? Oh, you have to stay up late then, because and she's 1 year old. 1 year old.
She's a little over 1 year. She's 15 months old.
That's great.
In that shift lay a profound change. Her calendar, once packed with work across continents, began to breathe. She still valued her creative life and time in front of the lens, but each booking had to offer more than just work. It needed to fit with a new, deeper priority: being present for motherhood. This transition brought clarity. Instead of saying yes to every opportunity, she began to choose only what resonated with her new life balance. She leaned into assignments that aligned with her values or offered creative inspiration. These were jobs that she could trust because the teams behind them understood her need to return home. The pace of her career slowed, but in that simplicity, it gained shape and heart. The demands of parenting reframed her priorities. Work became a craft rather than a full-time pursuit. She found fulfillment in fewer but more meaningful collaborations. Wellness became her core. In a life once rooted in glamour and travel, she planted new daily rituals that centered her. Meditation became a morning anchor, just a few minutes to breathe, to set a calm tone for the day. Healthy meals, simple and nourishing, replaced hurried stands by a vanity. Fresh air and nature walks offered quiet time to regroup and remain grounded. These practices were invisible to the world, but they shaped the way she moved through it. They nurtured balance in a world built for exposure, helping her embody composure not through glamour, but through peaceful presence. Her home life changed too. Instead of living where the fashion crowd gathered, always near flashing cameras and endless invitations, she selected a quieter base. She exchanged constant streetlights for comforting shade. That choice made it easier to protect her child from the glare. It gave her space to step outside in normal clothes, send a child to school, and run small errands without spotlight pressures. Living away from the celebrity magnets let her keep a sense of ordinary joys, even when her name remained extraordinary. In public life, she faced challenges that anyone with a family might encounter. Flourishing and faltering moments that sometimes touch headlines. There were times when her marriage ended and custody of her child needed careful arrangements. It was a delicate time, made harder by being in the public eye, and yet she handled it with extraordinary dignity. She carried on quietly, focused not on broadcast drama, but on rebuilding stability for herself and her family. There was no rush for attention, no airing of personal struggles. She quietly resolved things behind closed doors, preserving calm and respect for everyone involved. Her strategies to protect her personal world were gentle but resolute. She kept public appearances rare. Murphy talks about how she works.
Beyond anything I had ever dreamed, so I was fine. I felt like I had done everything, and that was it, and I could walk away and say, wow, that was...
She declined interviews that strayed into family matters. Her social media, if used at all, was carefully curated, focused on work or light personal notes, never on details of her child's life or friction at home. She did not allow paparazzi to show her home or daily routines. In private, she could still cook, laugh, read bedtime stories, and watch the seasons shift without being seen. This created a sacred boundary between her life at work and the life she nurtured at home. It was a quiet victory in an age of overshare. Over the years, she crafted a new version of success. Success was no longer about how many magazine covers she had or how many runways she conquered, though there were still worthy projects that came her way. Instead, success had a softer measure: being able to hold a child's hand during the week, to answer a school question, to meditate in the morning, to say no to something that didn't feel fully right. Her career did not vanish. It transformed. Each return to the camera or the stage felt more intentional. In that transformation, she found a deeper kind of staying power, rooted not in a public story, but in the trust of herself and the love of her family. But how was she able to come back to the spotlight without being fully noticed? Later career and selective comebacks. Carolyn Murphy's later career was defined by a sense of purpose and choice. After spending years in the spotlight during her peak modeling days, she returned to the runway only when the opportunity truly meant something to her. These appearances were often for high-profile designers who valued her timeless appeal, poise, and ability to bring a sense of authenticity to their collections. Each return was carefully considered, making her presence more impactful, as it became clear she was not chasing constant attention, but instead embracing moments that resonated with her vision. In her 40s and beyond, Carolyn continued to appear in editorial features that highlighted her natural elegance and enduring beauty. Magazines celebrated her as a model who had successfully adapted to the changing fashion landscape while still embodying the classic qualities that first made her famous. These editorials often showcased a more mature, confident version of herself, proving that style and presence could flourish at any age. Her work extended beyond fashion shows and photo shoots. Carolyn collaborated with heritage brands whose values aligned with her own. These partnerships often leaned toward quality, sustainability, and craftsmanship, reflecting her desire to work on projects that had meaning beyond commercial gain. Instead of accepting every offer, she focused on collaborations that spoke to her personal beliefs and long-term interests. She also ventured into lifestyle-focused projects that mirrored her priorities off the runway: health, balance, and a grounded approach to living. But with all these, one question remains: how did Murphy say no to fame with all her achievements and publicity? Saying no to fame. From the outside, the life of a supermodel can seem like a constant rush of red carpets, photo calls, and public appearances. Many models build their image on being seen everywhere, from fashion parties to glamorous openings. But for her, fame was never the goal. She built her career on her own terms, making it clear that she was interested in the work itself, not the spotlight that often came with it. Murphy says she is only interested in the job.
Try and taking good care of myself, but for the most part, at least I'm doing my job, and from what I've heard, I'm doing a good job, and that's all that.
In interviews, she explained that she simply did not feel the need to chase celebrities. She valued her peace of mind more than constant attention, and that shaped everything about the way she approached her career. Her definition of success was very different from the standard supermodel story. For many in the fashion industry, success means having a schedule packed with shows, campaigns, and public events every month of the year. For her, success meant working when it felt right, for the right reasons and for the right people. It meant walking away from opportunities that did not align with her personal goals or lifestyle. She focused on the quality of her work rather than the number of jobs she could add to her portfolio. This preference for quality over quantity allowed her to stay selective throughout her career. She would agree to a project only if it spoke to her in a creative or personal way. Instead of accepting every campaign or runway show that came her way, she focused on the ones that felt meaningful. By doing so, she avoided the burnout that often comes with the non-stop pace of the fashion world. This decision also allowed her to give more of herself to each project she took on, resulting in work that felt authentic and polished. For her, personal happiness was just as important as professional achievement. She was aware that fame can come with pressure, public scrutiny, and an invasion of privacy. Protecting her health, both physical and mental, was a major priority. Wellness, rest, and time away from the industry were not luxuries to her, but necessities. She viewed them as essential to keeping her grounded and balanced, no matter how busy her work life became. Privacy played an equally important role in her choices. She understood that once you give too much of yourself to the public, it is very hard to get it back. By keeping her personal life away from headlines, she created a clear line between her work and her private world. This separation helped her stay in control of her image and kept the focus on her talent rather than on gossip or speculation. Her approach had a surprising effect on how people in the industry viewed her. In a world where models often burn out quickly, she proved that it was possible to have a long, respected career without being everywhere at once. She became an example of how selectiveness can actually build longevity. By working only on projects that matched her values and timing, she remained fresh in the eyes of both clients and the public. People looked forward to her appearances precisely because they were rare. This ability to pace her career inspired a new way of thinking for younger models. Many saw her as a reference point for how to balance success and personal life. She showed that it was not necessary to live in the public eye every day to have a respected name in the business. Younger models began to see that saying no to certain opportunities could sometimes lead to better ones later, and that being more selective could help maintain their relevance for years instead of just a short season. Her influence reached beyond modeling. She became a symbol of how to build a sustainable career in a highly competitive industry. By refusing to be swept up in the cycle of endless appearances and overexposure, she showed that fame could be managed, not just endured. She reminded others that it is possible to enjoy the work without being consumed by it, and that stepping back can sometimes be the key to moving forward. Her story challenges the traditional idea of what it means to make it in modeling. While others measure success by how visible they are, she measures it by the balance she maintains between her personal and professional life. She proved that you can still work with top designers, appear in prestigious campaigns, and be remembered as one of the best in the business, all without surrendering your time, your space, or your peace. As the years went by, her choices made her even more respected. While other names faded from the spotlight after intense but short-lived fame, she remained a quiet but powerful presence. She continued to receive offers not because she was in the headlines, but because her name was tied to quality, elegance, and professionalism. This reputation kept her in demand for decades, showing that a carefully managed career can outlast the flash of sudden fame. In the end, her enduring relevance came from the very thing that set her apart from the beginning: her refusal to chase fame. She built a career that was strong enough to stand without constant exposure. She stayed true to her values, worked with intention, and put her own well-being at the center of her decisions. By doing so, she became more than just a model. She became a blueprint for how to succeed in fashion without sacrificing the parts of life that matter most. So, where is Murphy now? In recent years, Carolyn Murphy has embraced a lifestyle that reflects the same values she upheld throughout her career: balance, health, and authenticity. While she no longer appears on the runway as frequently as in her early days, she remains connected to the fashion industry through select projects that align with her principles. These often include collaborations with sustainable brands, environmentally conscious campaigns, and causes that promote wellness and self-care. Her daily life now centers on a slower pace, away from the constant buzz of celebrity hotspots. She has made it clear through her choices that peace and quality of life are her priorities. Outdoor activities, meditation, and a mindful diet remain key to her health, helping her maintain a natural and vibrant appearance as she ages. She views aging not as something to resist, but as a natural part of life to be embraced with grace and self-respect. Murphy has also become an informal mentor figure, often sharing thoughtful advice with younger models. She encourages them to see beyond the fleeting glamour of fame and focus instead on long-term well-being, smart career choices, and building a life outside of the spotlight. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.